All right, this one's going to be a question for the people who support Donald Trump. I need a haircut. Jesus fucking Christ, I got to get in to get a haircut. Anyway, it's a question for MAGA supporters. Hear the birds, they're going nuts for their breakfast. Trump supporters, MAGA supporters. You guys are now okay with price controls? Are you now okay? You're telling the world you are now okay with the federal government telling a private business this is what you will and will not charge. That's a fucked up screensaver that's bright as hell. You're okay with the federal government telling a private company what they will and will not charge for their products? And I'm not going to tell you it's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm not arguing against the practice. I'm wondering where you stand on this. Because in the past, when the subject of price controls came up, you guys were the ones screaming from the mountaintops, can't do that. Private industry, capitalism, all of that. But now you're on board with the federal government telling private industry, this is how much you will and will not charge for your products. Because that's what Donald Trump is proposing. Donald Trump's big announcement was as follows. For many years, the world has wondered why prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals in the United States of America were so much higher in price than they were in any other nation. Pause right there. No, we weren't wondering. We understood what was happening. That the pharmaceutical industry was in the pockets of politicians. But we go on. Sometimes being 5 to 10 times more expensive than the same drug manufactured in the same laboratory or plant by the same company. It was always difficult to explain and very embarrassing because, in fact, there was no correct or rightful answer. No, there was. You guys on the right have fought against universal health care and the ability to bargain for our prescription drugs as a nation for years. The pharmaceutical drug companies would say for years that it was research and development costs and that all of these costs were and would be for no reason whatsoever borne by the suckers of America alone. Yada, yada, yada. Therefore, I am pleased to announce that tomorrow morning in the White House at 9 a.m., I will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. Prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 30 to 80%. They will rise throughout the world in order to equalize and, for the first time in many years, bring fairness to America. I will be instituting a most favored nations policy whereby the United States will pay the same price as the nation that pays the lowest price anywhere in the world. Our country will finally be treated fairly, and our citizens' health care costs will be reduced by numbers never even thought of before. Additionally, on top of everything else, the United States will save trillions of dollars. Thank you for your attention on this matter. Then this morning he posted this. Drug prices to be cut by 59% plus. And then went on to lie, saying gasoline, energy, grocery, and all other costs down. No inflation. Love DJT. Well, my gas prices are actually up since you've been in office. And I know that presidents don't control gas prices, but since you want to take credit for things, we were paying in the 280s before you got inaugurated. We're in the low 3s now. My energy prices for my home haven't gone down. My grocery prices haven't gone down. And you said, and all other costs down? Like what? But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is about the prescription drug costs. So how is he going to do this? He's given you absolutely no details how he's going to do this. It's my understanding in order to get that favored nation deal, you got to have an act of Congress. But that also is the federal government telling the pharmaceutical companies what they will and will not charge for their prescription medications. I'm not against this. Before anybody comes at me and goes, oh, you just don't like Trump. He's actually doing something that I'd like to see happen. Lower the fucking drug prices. Let's start telling the pharmaceutical companies they're no longer going to rip off the American people. But the only way he can do it is by price controls. The only way he can do it is if he goes to the pharmaceutical companies, or the federal government goes to the pharmaceutical companies and says, fuck you, this is what we're going to pay you. And you guys are now on board with that. Tell me a bigger 180. I almost said 360. A bigger 180. You guys have been yelling about price controls for fucking decades. Now Donald Trump says, we're just going to roll up to the pharmaceutical companies and go, fuck you, this is what we're going to pay you. And you guys are okay with that. So then why can't we finally get universal health care? I mean, that's a portion of universal health care. Telling the manufacturers of the drug companies, this is what we're going to pay because we have 300 plus million customers coming to you. Do you guys not see that that's what you're supporting now in this? Do you not see that what Donald Trump is saying is I'm going to tell these companies what they can and cannot charge? And I'm not arguing for or against it necessarily. I'm just wondering if you see that. Fuck you, this is what we're going to pay you. What else can we do that with? Since you guys are on board with this, what else can we do that with? Can we do that with gasoline? Can we do that with groceries? Can we do that with rent or mortgages? Can we do that with colleges? Can I go to UIC before my daughter's next school year, her junior school year at the end of summer, and I go, fuck you, this is what I'm going to pay you? It's awfully interesting to see a bunch of Trump supporters all of a sudden be in favor of federal government controlling private industry prices.